What is transport across the cell membrane? Facilitated transport is a type of passive transport, unlike simple diffusion where materials pass through a membrane without the help of proteins. In facilitated transport, also called facilitated diffusion, materials diffuse across the plasma membrane with the help of a membrane protein.
What is a hypotonic solution? A hypotonic solution is any solution that has a lower osmotic pressure than another solution. In the biological fields, this generally refers to a solution that has less solute and more water than another solution.
What is a hypertonic solution? A hypertonic solution is one where the concentration of solute is greater outside the cell than the inside of the cell.
What are the characteristics of the cell membrane of animal cells? The cell membrane is semi-permeable and it surrounds the cell. Its semi-permeable nature means the membrane can serve two primary functions. The first one is forming an outer boundary of the cell and therefore holding the cell together. And the second one is allowing certain substances to pass through it while preventing others from doing so.
What molecules can pass freely across the cell membrane? Oxygen is one molecule that can pass freely through the cell membrane because it's a non-polar molecule. The procedure.
First day of the experiment. The first thing we did was to weigh both of the eggs. Then we placed both of them in a big bottle and filled it with vinegar, which is the acetic acid. Second day of the experiment. We took various pictures of the changes that had occurred in both of the eggs. Third day of the experiment. After 3 days have passed, we carefully took the eggs out of the vinegar. And we could observe that one of the eggs was a little bit broken. And then, very carefully, we rinsed them with water. The process.
Here we are weighing the eggs after the vinegar. Then we are filling the jars with the substances, water and corn syrup. Then this is the eggs in their corresponding jars.
Then we let the eggs rest for some hours and we took pictures of the changes that were happening with them. And these were the final results after 8 hours.
Now we're taking them out of the hypotonic and hypertonic solution. We first started with the egg in the water. We are weighing it now. Now this is the one of the corn syrup. We're taking them out and weighing it. Now we're putting it in there again and changing the solutions.
What conclusions can you make based on your first observations? We observed that the vinegar made the eggs squishy when you touched them, but you had to be very careful when grabbing an egg because it could break very easily since the acetic acid got rid of the hard calcium layers surrounding the eggs, so it made it unprotected. And also because of that, they looked almost transparent, so we could see the inside of the egg.
What happens to the cell when placed in a hypotonic solution? In our case, the hypotonic solution was the jar of water and the cell was the egg. When we took it out after the 3 days in the vinegar, the egg was a little bit squishy and a little bit transparent, but not too much. So, immediately when we put the egg into the water, the egg sunk into the bottom of the jar and started making bubbles, like a soda can. Then, after we took it out, after the 8 hours, the egg was a little bit squishier, and the shell of the outside of the egg was a little bit softer than the first time that we took it out of the vinegar. And the egg weighed also a little bit less than the first time. So, what we think that happens to the cell when it's placed into the hypotonic solution is that the cell doesn't suffer anything of the changes, just it dissolves a little bit with bubbles in the hypotonic solution, but that's it.
What happens to a cell when placed in a hypertonic solution? The water inside the cell, which is the highest concentration, moves out of the cell, which is the lowest concentration, and this causes the plant cell to shrink and the plant to wilt. The plant wilts because there is a loss of trigger pressure.